break. This is the fifth day and the final day of the faculty development program organized by Amity School of Communication in association with Amity Staff College. We have had around 12 deliberations and 12 learning sessions with very interesting learning outcomes, objectives, and also many views and reviews. Before we had this lunch break, we took many reviews from the participants and we had an open discussion with many of them. And that came out to be very fruitful in terms of that how FDP, the objectives of the FDP can be sourced to a new syllabi structure done by ASCO and Amity. So there are many participants who have joined us online already, and many are here from the ASCO studio. So now I would like to request the core team member of the faculty development program, Dr. Jolly Jose. I'll read out her short profile. You must have seen Dr. Jolly Jose for all these 5 days. She has been very instrumental in developing and ideating this interesting workshop with the team members, with other team members. And she is the Assistant Director for Research and Associate Professor with Amity School of Communication, Uttar Pradesh, Noida. She has a teaching experience of around 14 years and an industry experience of about 13 years. This comes out to be an amazing research experience which she is holding on to with Amity School of Communication. She has been a core member of many research committees throughout different colleges and universities in the country. She has been a part of, she has been the dean in charge at Xavier's Bhubaneswar. She has been the guest faculty at Sri Padmavati State Women's University. Tirupati, Dr. Jolly Jose has worked for 4 international developmental projects. Recently, she has completed one interesting project on migrant laborers in India and COVID, which was a very interesting funded project for which I was also a part of. So through her research endeavors, all the members in ASCO family are also getting the little benefits of her learnings also. I wish to invite you, ma'am, here for reading of the final report of these 5 days. We all welcome Dr. Jolly Jose. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashima, for the long introduction. Very good afternoon to all the participants first here far away and the distinguished guest of the day, Dr. Vivek Pathak, Professor Dulia, our own chairperson, Professor Bandyopadhyay sir, and our dear Professor Colonel R.K. Dogan sir, dear participants, resource persons, scholars, and my dear students who are here to listen to the guests' deliberants. Upskilling Industry Skills for Media Educators 5.0, when it was in our thought process, we wanted many faculties, industry groups to come together and make it a week-long workshop thinking of procedures, theories, practices, and take the academics ahead in the Indian context as well as in the entire world. How will be the future of journalism? And as faculty, we have a huge role to shape the curriculum of journalistic practices, the pedagogy, and the actual deliverance. And I'm very happy at the end of this 5-day long faculty development program, along with the academic staff college in association with, of course, the Amity School of Communication, to present this report. I'm grateful to the ongoing support which is extended by our founder president, our chancellor sir, our vice chancellor madam, the consortium members of Amity School of Communication. A big team worked with us, the staff, the faculty, and our own PhD scholars, and our entire studio team to make it this program a wonderful, successful, with a very, very positive note. As noted in the last review, that we have gathered ample forward focusing points to put down a beautiful curriculum, presuming that we can state that we are in an interactive journalism mode. We had 20 participants from besides the Amity campus, and we wanted, when we thought of it, we want only 40 participants to be here, only 20 outsiders. The reason is that it is upskilling the industry skills. We want a lot of hands-on practices. Based on the initial requisitions, we changed our whole program into hybrid, and we tried to reach out to those who are far away and who cannot make it. And it was also a challenge for us to how to give a training online to the learners. And there are limitations, let me admit that. It's nothing can be when we practice things online, offline, and having one-to-one discussions and take our entire day with us as the traditional faculty development practices we used to take to complete the total dedication. And we have participants from across the country. We have participants joined from South India, from Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, northeastern states, and central states, and seniors to new faculty, male and female, on campus and off campus. So it was a wonderful blend of faculty group which we have joined over here, and we had number of participants, our own interested faculty members were joining in between. We opened it for our own students to listen to our the excellent resource persons. We started our inauguration with the blessings of our founder president. Our chief guest was Professor W. Selvamuthi sir, and we had guests of Dr. Colonel R.K. Doggin sir, our advisor, and the footnote given at the keynote address were by Mr. Rajesh Mohapatra, editor of Press Trust of India. And I'm sure the points which we brought forth was good enough to inculcate or explore further the topics we had already planned. And the first session, the formal session, we started with Mr. Pradeep Sureen, a journalist turned to business and journalism communication entrepreneur. That is the new shaping context of journalism and communication today. And I was very happy that our students also got chances to interact with him and introducing how vast and wide the interactive journalism can be and the future shape it can take too. And we had next beautiful session by two persons sharing when we had Miss Devika Chibar, the senior deputy director, deputy editor and researcher, Vishwas News, and Dr. Asher Machwe, joined from Bristol. Bristol. This was another way to understand where are we as faculty, where is journalism today, where the machine is coming, and a lot of challenges put forward for us faculty and also for the young ones to blend the both. I also recall these days there are short courses coming to join AI and get your work fast in. So there is also a boost these days. How if we are not yet started Chat GTP or any other AI, really, again you can see a lot of training coming in. This is also a learning process. And the day two, we had this session started with the grounded theory. And we're grateful to Professor Pradeep Nair to make us understand how to explore and another potential for journalism faculty to make use of this theory to understand journalism, to research journalism, and also to teach journalism and communication in today's context. And my own personal thought into this is that we can use grounded theory again on online platform. So that is also rest with us as a faculty. And we had a day long, the rest of the day long session with Mojo and 15-second journalism by a team, Sunil Goswami from Digital Videos ABP Network. And purely we were on digital ground. We forgot our entire journalism, going to the field and taking, reporting, writing down with our own hands or with taking pen and all that. That gave us a totally different phase of journalism today, which is also brought a lot of thought process like, is it only data driven? Is it only what we see peripheral, put it into Mojo and share it? Is it a real journalism to make it interesting or interacting? Or the thoughts like, where is hardcore journalism? So I'm grateful to this, the great team. They are offered, we know that they have been very busy schedule. They took out the time and joined us. And the outcome was so good that all of us, including me, I felt I should be more on mobile journalism, at least checking what is happening. Of course, I don't want to bend my the hardcore journalistic mind that journalism. I always repeat that this is for social change and community building. And in the day three, we started with another theory by Professor K.S. Aruselvan, the director of the School of Journalism and New Media Studies, IGNOU. And the thrust of the focus was the session was the democratization of news production and dissemination without forgetting the sender of news. We also had persons from data leads, Vardarajan Krishna, and we had good understanding on how to utilize this, the fact checking and what is its significance. Also, of course, we emphasize and we know that there are limitations when we go with AI. I'm very happy that the team has brought out this idea, the concepts that in upcoming AI, when one challenge we try to address, another challenge is already there. And as faculty team, we're much vibrant in all this. We also had a session the same day by Dr. Rubaid Abshak, our own Amity faculty team, starting with the data journalism. And it continued for the fourth day, and another session by Dr. Jolly Jose and Miss Shweta from TV9. So that was another need of the hour. I also found the ways, another angle of journalism is being brought into this. And I acknowledge that the practice of this is could not be accomplished in this. Data journalism, as all of you know, it is a huge, but the openings are already there. And we started with the fourth day, we had started with the Amity radio and the podcasting with led by the team Shika, and we have the RJ Berna from Red FM, and the practices or practical discussion. It was an interactive session on significance. What is podcasting? Why an RJ going into podcast? It has been an inspiration for all the participants to get into. And today we continued session with the practical session on how to produce a report, a product on podcasting, the entire procedure, the context, the not just the storytelling, the equipments which we need, and how to generate the content and how to disseminate the content. And the last session which we had was with Dr. Rakesh Prakash as our own Amity faculty on how to use rundown. This is another hands-on practice we had. As I mentioned in the summing up, it was also we had a little constraint because participants preferred to be online and run down to show offline. It is not that easy. I would like to thank Dr. Rakesh for this effort, and also Shika for the great effort to have a complete session on, though complete practical session, the challenges was taken and it is being put it down online in a wonderful manner. And I can say that to conclude this 5 days FDP, the objectives of this FDP is being met, that we want to have a hands-on training. I'm sure the day you start, it is not that you are sitting here, including me. More interest to learn what is out over there, to critically look at what is the journalism practices, to accept that when you speak about the industry 5.0 as a faculty fraternity, we have committed the challenge to take journalism ahead in our country and also in this part of the world and also the entire part of the world. And as being in the Indian context, being the biggest place for learning journalism, and especially being in Delhi, most of the us are here who are is in the physical mode, and being faculties in this part of the world, we have a greater challenge to shape the pedagogy of journalism, practice of journalism, and training the young ones in journalism. And that is what that shapes a nation. That is what that build the community. Once again, I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to the great force which supported our team to conduct this FDP and to take it to this last minute that we have achieved something. We had spent value added time in the last 5 days. Thank you, one and all. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Jolly Jose, for presenting the final report of the FDP. Uh, for me, no program, no structure, no procedure can work without a mentor. And we have our dear mentor right here. I feel elated to invite Professor Colonel R.K. Durgan, Honorable Advisor to ASCO, to Amity School of Communication, for a small deliberation at the valedictory session today. Sir is the most important pillar of this communication school, from guiding all of us to our best to the amazing infrastructural development of the studio, of the audiovisual studio and the radio Amity studio. I welcome you, sir, for a small deliberation today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ashima, for a very warm welcome and comprehensive introduction. It's been such a pleasure to be associated with this FDP, which we are organizing in collaboration with Amity Staff College after a very long time. And for me particularly, who is a native of the old school of journalism and thought process, to learn about the new technologies which were covered during the last 3 days of deliberations. The topic is so relevant to the present times, particularly for the teachers who are churning out digital professionals in a digital world. I have observed that there's nothing new that I'm going to talk, because in the last 3 days of deliberations, most of the things have been covered, and what I will probably say today may be repetitive. Upskilling is necessary for teachers in the present situation, particularly in the education world, which we are now in it. We are talking about NEP, we are talking about Industry 5.0, and today we are living in a very, very highly technological world where everything requires upgradation, updating every day. The convergence of technology and education, particularly the education, was a given, and we knew it all. However, though we were slowly progressing in it, none of us imagined that it would be so rapid and all encompassing simultaneously. The pandemic provided an unprecedented impetus to the technological education. We in Amity know it very well that when we closed down on the 19th of March, 22nd, we were online, holding classes online. This has resulted in democratization of quality education like never before. the pandemic. It has brought in flexibility and fluidity, which allows students to shift their options and explore new dynamics without abandoning their core subjects. This, coupled with global developments like the onset of Industry 4.0 and the accelerating digital revolution, consequently demands an evaluation of the current education system, along with the roles and skills of the people who are imparting education, and that is the teachers. Hybrid learning, peer assessment, e-portfolios, massive open online courses, MOOCs, what you call, customized learning, and multi-model instruction are some unmissable terms in the current education scenario. Schools have proactively adapted to the new reality and upgraded their infrastructure to tick all the boxes to become institutions of the 21st century. But, and however, this infrastructure will remain futile if a significant chunk of its users, that is, the teachers, are not skilled to utilize it to its fullest potential. And that was the underlying theme of this entire FDP devised by Dr. Jolly and her team. The focus lies on upskilling the teachers, which is so important as introducing technological advancements into the education system. First, what is the need for teachers upskilling? A must for fruition of education technology. I had a presentation, but I think due to the paucity of time, I'll skip that and give certain points, maybe repetitive again, because the FDP is almost now on the last day. You must have heard it all. We have realized that overriding focus on upgraded infrastructure does not itself guarantee the transformation of education. You may have the latest stuff. We have got the latest studio. But it's absolutely futile if we don't know how to use it, how to upgrade it. I'll give you an example. When we set up the studio in 2013, we had brought in the latest high-end equipment. And I signed a deal with the company who provided us Sony, the cameras and all, that for 5 years, they'll provide us free servicing. Within 6 months, we did realize that we required servicing and upgradation. And when I sent the cameras for servicing, they said, "Sir, these are outdated." I told them it's 6 months old, 1 year old. He says, "We will service, no problem." But the technology is changing so fast that within 6 months, our new cameras became obsolete. It's vital to examine whether this focus of upgradation has in fact diverted attention away from the much needed upskilling of teachers. Sometimes we are bothered about upgrading the technology and our attention gets diverted to the upkeep and updating of the technology and equipment more than probably thinking on the lines of upskilling our teachers also. Stacking up to the latest gadgets has somehow remained the go-to approach so far. Children these days, maybe because of the effects of advertising, want to go in for the new gadgets and they change their phone every year because the new things have come in the phones. We seem to have neglected the importance of training the teachers to use these gadgets and technology at their disposal appropriately has not been the order of the day. I do know that I may be talking certain out of context because they themselves are upgrading, but yet there is some amount of upskilling the teachers required to face the requirements of Industry 4.0. The need of the hour is to open an interactive approach. It includes creating effective pathways for teachers' professional development and upskilling teachers to incorporate modern technologies in the classroom. I don't know how many of you watch this program on a particular channel called News Ki Pathshala. You see the anchor using a board with technology. He writes, he erases, he puts important points. It's a very high-tech board, and I was very keen to see how this works. I may have seen it, but I don't know how to use it. So I went to the company concerned, Sony people. I went that I want to see such a board, and I saw that board myself. It requires a huge amount of learning. You cannot use it. I know the technology is there, everything is there, but you have to learn to use. And that is where upskilling of the teachers is required. One more thing that I want to mention is the rise of the digital natives. Today's students are digital natives. They have a wide access to information. They are on the information superhighway. This access will only widen further with the rapid use of technology, including AR, augmented reality, virtual reality in education. Processing and retaining the variety of information online often leads students, especially the adolescents, to experience a wide range of emotions. I'll come to it slightly later. These complexities that come with the unhindered use of technology are not just delicate, but also very tricky to handle. You heard about the fake news. You heard about so many other things where emotions are involved. You've seen what is happening in a neighboring country. The emotions are involved because of the spread of technology. The first thing that happens these days, in case certain thing like this happens, is the government stops internet, bans WhatsApp, bans this thing, because this gives rise to emotions. Relying solely on technology will not be sufficient. Teachers here play a significant role in helping students channel those emotions to their benefits. For teachers to build a bridge of trust and communication with the students as technology use progresses, we will also need to prepare them to deal with emotional and behavioral problems that are associated with it. They see so much of unwanted stuff. They see so much of unwanted things coming, and they get emotionally charged. It's up to the teachers how to handle those kind of things. It's not only totally relying on technology and do whatever you want. The dynamics of the real world. One of the core aims of going for education technology is to prepare a generation of highly skilled and desirable professionals. The global job market is ever changing. Roles and responsibilities are also transforming to bring in newer areas. Here, the students will be relying on the teachers to help them navigate through the different career choices and understand their true potential. It's a sacred duty of the teachers, what you call also a mentor. So teachers upskilling will also have to cater to the changing realities outside the classroom by supporting them in their journey and bringing in a change in their behavioral pattern also. Let not technology rule their minds. This will also include making them aware of the current future trends in specific domains and keeping them up with evolving technology and consumption patterns, what to consume and what not to consume. Which brings me to the ethics, values, and responsibilities in the digital era. It's important to instill ethics and values in young students. We at Amity focus quite a lot on values, on behavior. Cyber etiquettes are nothing but their continuation only in a different direction. These etiquettes highlight the importance of practices like respect for privacy, consent, and permission, which the teachers will have to inculcate. As we integrate technology into regular classroom settings, it becomes important to educate and train teachers on the challenges of promoting appropriate behavior in the minds of the students in the digital world. Teachers will be equipped to introduce and manage such issues with ease with the right upskilling if they want to upskill. It is crucial to make sure that the children are prepared to use technology responsibly by giving them appropriate attention. The access to content is very easy for the children. What they're watching, what they're seeing has to be monitored by the teachers and instill in the students as to what is wrong and what is right, not to get carried away by whatever they see. NEP 2020 reiterates teachers upskilling. All of you now by now as teachers must have gone through the NEP 20. The National Education Policy mentions the creation of National Professional Standards for Teachers. A complete chapter exists in that. That will determine critical aspects of a teacher's life cycle, like continuous professional development, and this FDP aims to that, merit-based increments and promotions, and code of conduct. Undoubtedly, teachers in this scenario will be required to be updated with the latest technology to further the ongoing communication with students, master their digital skills to collaborate and innovate with global experts. Finally, I'll conclude and wrap up. The NEP 2020 is indeed the right step in this direction. However, its success wholeheartedly depends on how well we prepare our teachers. It is essential to remind ourselves from time to time that technology itself is not the solution. It lies in capacity building and enabling teachers to use technology in the right direction. Our schools and colleges will have to become the incubation centers of research, innovation, exploration, and development, where teachers will shape the direction of these initiatives by constantly acquiring new skills and exploring new streams of knowledge. India is at the forefront of becoming the global hub of talent that will cater to the emerging opportunities in the coming few decades. We are progressing very fast in this. Meeting these demands, the other day on the opening day, you heard Dr. Selvamurthy. And he advised everybody that all these developments that he mentioned require celebration. We have to celebrate these, but we also have to know about this and upgrade ourselves. Meeting this demand means ushering in a phase of passionate commitment to prepare the workforce of tomorrow which of course will begin at the school and university level. And this can never be realized without preparing the torch bearers of this journey, and that is the teachers. Finally, I'd like to thank and compliment Dr. Jolly Jose and all the team members of this FDP who have put in a lot of effort. I know this was a time when we had many commitments. The examinations are on, the vivas are going on, and yet to find time to promulgate this knowledge requires appreciation. Yesterday was a holiday. I spent the whole day. I had some commitment outside, but I didn't go because I was listening to certain talks going on, which was so interesting. Particularly, for the first time, I learned so much about cryptocurrency, which was yesterday discussed at length. It requires a huge amount of compliments on the part of everybody. And I'm sure people from across certain places in the country who have attended this will benefit from the immense effort put in by the team and try to deliver some very good content. My heartfelt thanks to the entire team, and goes without saying that compliments along with this. Thank you so much, Jolly, and thank you, everybody.
Sir, it's our pleasure that you always guide us. And I must uh, tell here that Sir is the most techie, the most tech savvy person in the whole ASCO. So if you want to learn any new technology, you just go to him and he knows it. So maybe it's why, because he wishes all of us to learn, and we go to him and he discusses it with us. So I think mentoring and teaching uh, is is the way he has made his life goal now. Thank you so much, sir. We have two eminent guests who have joined us online, Professor Subhash Thulia and Professor Vivek Pathak. Vikas Pathak ji. Professor Dhulia, he's an I think he doesn't need any introduction. Professor Dhulia, ladies and gentlemen, is an academician of higher education and media studies. He has brought us wealth of knowledge and experience to the stage. He holds the esteemed position of an adjunct faculty at the Central University of Garhwal, where his expertise and dedication has left an impeccable mark on countless students. Sir has been a visionary, and he has served as the Vice Chancellor of Uttarakhand Open University, guiding institutions towards new heights of excellence and fostering a culture of academic innovation. Furthermore, his impressive contributions extend beyond his administrative roles. He has also been recognized as distinguished professor of journalism at renowned institutions such as IGNOU, IIMC, and Central University of Rajasthan. His profound experience and expertise in journalism and mass communication has shaped the minds and aspired journalists, and will keep aspiring future media communicators. I have been your student, sir, and I still have your book, which you gave me for research methodology. It's with me, and I am so elated right now today to invite you to the valedictory of this faculty development program. Over to you, Subhash, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jolie Jose, for having
Sir,
me.
the audio is.
Am I audible now? Is it okay?
Take the audio, sir.
Okay now? Yes, Jolie, from my side, I'm unmuted.
So give us a moment. I think we'll just connect the audio. Audio to me.
Dr. Ashima, Professor Subhash was
Please,
clearly audible.
we'll just get back to you,
Well,
sir,
is
in
it okay, Johnny,
few
now?
seconds. So the audio, maybe the audio setting has a little technicality. We'll just get back to it. So if you can please start.
Well, I'm audible now.
Yes, sir. The audio is.
Thank you, Johnny, for having me for this session. Upskilling the skills. Very interesting topic. Let's take an overview of the skills. That means, what were the skills that were required, say, a few decades back? What are the skills that are required today? And what skills will be required in the next 5 years when technology is drastically changing our media landscape and the very profession now. So in digital age, the first thing that occurred was the emergence of the headline journalism. But traditionally, broadly, we can say three forms of journalism were most dominant. The journalism of verification, and then came the journalism of assertion, and then came the journalism of affirmations. Traditionally, the set of skills that were required was reporting, editing, writing, and typography, of course. And news sense was linked to the typography. That which news story will be, what treatment a story will get, and what is the placement of the stories. So these four sets of skills were there, say 3-4 decades back. Now in today's scenario, multimedia skills are required now, because now there is a kind of integration of print media, audio, video. So multimedia skills are required. That means you have text, it's combination of text, audio, video, graphics, animations. So multimedia packages are now required, and multimedia skills are not required. So in today's scenario, we can say that the skills that were required some 2 decades back, these skills are required even now. But plus, we have to add these skills also. Now, technology is very, very user-friendly now. So there was a time when a television reporter, when used to go to the field, it was a whole team. The reporter, the camera person, then the video editor, voiceover artist, all of them, there was a team of the 4-5 persons when they were reporting for television. Now today it's only reporter. Mobile journalism is now becoming very, very popular now. In fact, some of the channels are using only mobile phones. So now a journalist is multi-skilled. He has to report, he has to edit, he has to produce video, he has to produce audios. So these skills are required now in today's context. Now, traditional journalism was journalism of verifications. Like when I was a journalist, it was very important that whenever we are reporting some prints, our report should be factual. That's the first condition, that it should be based on the facts. And then facts should be verified and re-verified. The cardinal rule was that a reporter should get convinced that the fact that is reported is a truthful fact. So it is verified from one source, second source, and third source. That was the journalism of verifications that we're practicing. And then came the market commercialization of the media and the market competition. In early 90s, in fact, that occurred when commercialization of media occurred. And there is a strict market competition. And this gave birth to the headlines journalism. So it was headlines that were important, catchy headlines, grab the attention journalism kind of a thing. So this was a new brand of journalism that you have to break the story first. And when you have break the story because of competition, then this verification process was done away. That you have to break the story the moment you get it, anticipating that our rivals will break the story. So then this breaking journalism came, and it in a way destroyed, not destroyed, that means we have all forms of journalism existing today. We have different platforms, but still, this journalism of verification in mainstream media got marginalized, you can say, if not destroyed. So this headline journalism was something which was a negative development in our profession because it was market competition, it was journalism of hits, clicks, and eyeballs, that you have to capture the maximum market share so that you can generate more revenue. And this transformation occurred that media as a public service enterprise is got transformed into a profit-making venture. So the main thrust now is to get audience share in those regions where the people having additional purchasing power they live. So Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, all these metropolitan cities are more important now. So television news channels and even the newspapers, they are not bothered whether the backward regions of Bihar or Patna are not in their marathon. Because these states or these regions are not the of the people who are having additional purchasing power. So the market is that where the people who have additional purchasing power. And the entire advertising industry is focused on that segment of the society who have additional purchasing power. And that's why most of the media organizations now today, they are trying to capture the maximum share in that in that market. And rest of the people are just on the margin. If there is a rain in Mumbai, it's the biggest story for all television channels because 70% of their advertising revenue originates from Mumbai. So that's a scenario that we are facing today. So that is that brand of journalism has occurred now. This is a kind of a headline journalism means you have to grab attention. It's a short form content as compared to long form content. Now, short form content has become very, very dominant now. In fact, some of the portals are only dealing with the headlines. They are not giving any details. And then another brand of journalism that has appeared now is journalism of affirmation. We have seen number of the television debate shows where anchor will take a political position and he will grill his panelist from that position. So anchor is not trying to get information from these panelists from their area of expertise, but he's grilling them to solicit the answer which he or she has already defined. But answer is defined first, and then panelists are grilled to solicit that information. So that is third brand of journalism that has occurred now. Now is this short form of content and in-depth journalism. Because short form means you are just reporting the story out of context and it has not much life. The in-depth also journalism is also important. In fact, if you have to give a catchy or good headline and you have in-depth knowledge of the subject, then you will be far better equipped to give a different headline, to be different in the crowd. So we have now in today's context, we have the short form content and long form content. You see, on the one hand, we have all kind of organizations who are practicing that headline journalism. But at the same time, we have news portals, magazines who are giving the very in-depth analysis and long form content. Some of the news portals, their articles are running into thousands of words. In fact, this process took place when I was a journalist. We were never comfortable writing an article in less than 2,000 words. Then we were told that to bring it down to 1,500 words. Then 1,000 words. Then they said make it 800 or 900 words because we have to give some graphics also. So that process was going on from early 90s, that we were going for the short form content. But even today now we have very, very influential global magazines like Foreign Affairs, Atlantic. Now, Foreign Affairs is considered to be the most influential magazine in the world because Foreign Affairs directly influence the American policies. And because America is a dominant world power, influencing American policies means influencing the entire world. Now, in Foreign Affairs, the articles, they are even running into 8,000, 9,000 words. So we have that brand of journalism. All kind of brand of journalism are being now practiced today. So that's broadly that being the kind of scenario that has emerged and the kind of skills that are required. So first is the terrestrial skills, writing, reporting, typography, news sense, that is required. Plus, we need multimedia skills. That is in addition to that. And third is now we are in the days of data now. So data journalism has become very, very important. And this is age of data anyway. And there are two versions of it. One is data is oil, which is running the entire global politics and the economy. And there is one data is soil also. You can do excellent reporting through the data. So data-driven journalism now or computer-assisted reporting has become very, very important now. So there are large number of websites of all the organizations, and you can get data from there. I've seen some of the excellent reporting on crime in Delhi, which are only based on the data that has been gathered from the website of Delhi Police. But now the challenge is how to mine the data, how to process the data, how to analyze it, how to place it in a context. That has become a big challenge now. So we have huge amount of information at our disposal. The age of information overload also. And these are the challenges for a journalist, that how to process the information and how to convert that into the news format so that it can be understood easily by a common man. So that is now data storytelling, data visualization, how to visualize the data. That has become very, very important now. And data stories are, because if you ask for a student, analyze data of a hospital of last 5 years, you will get number of good stories. Number of good stories. हॉस्पिटल का डेटा ये कहता है कि पिछले 5 साल में मेंटल सिकनेस वालों की नंबर hypothetically say it has increased by 500%. The younger people suffering from the heart problems, it has gone up to 100%. These are the news stories that if you are mining data, you are collecting data of hospital of last 5 years, you will get wonderful stories. But only thing is that data in itself is not enough. Now, for example, if you are reporting rapes in the capital, and your story is totally dependent on the data of the Delhi police, but we all know that majority of the number of the rape cases are not reported to police because of combination of various factors. So that's not the real figure in a way. So that's where I think a reporter has to look beyond. And how to do it is another challenge. That data which is available on the public domain, how to question that data, how to challenge that data. You see, if you take the government data, it's not today, but right from the beginning, from 60s, 70s, when we were in the journalism, the government used to issue press releases and disseminate large number of data. And major chunk of that data was manufactured. You see, in our country now, since independence, we have almost over 100 development projects, rural development projects that have been launched. And the government data will claim all kind of, make all tall claims. But if you go for the money trail, you follow the money, that how much budget was allocated for these projects and how much budget actually reached the grassroots level, situation is very, very pathetic. In fact, once Rajiv Gandhi said that the budget that was allocated to development projects, only 8% of it reached to grassroots level, and rest of us are cornered by corrupt politicians and bureaucrats and these power brokers. So that is a scenario that with data, how to challenge that data, how to analyze that data is also very important. How authentic is the data? What is the source of data? How authentic is the source? These skills are required for a new age professions. Then now one issue that is being debated now is uh, impact of the artificial intelligence on our profession. In fact, it's just debate has occurred just in the last few years. Uh, Even I don't have very clarity that how much it's going to impact our profession of journalism. But of course, you see, in journalism, traditionally, the kind of skills that were required was your writing skills should be strong. Writing skills will be impacted by artificial intelligence, definitely. Then there were the intellectual skills and strong knowledge base. That's another set of skills that were required traditionally. Then the professional skills. Professional skills mean to convert very complex subjects like budget, convert that into a news format which can be understood easily by the common people. So these professional skills were required. And then now today, when we take about we move to the next skills, that is the technology. Technology has become now very, very important. So you do need writing skills, intellectual skills, professional skills, but you have the tech savvy also. Practice the profession in today's context. Now, when we say uh, AI cannot be, I'm not sure, but the point is today in this context, if you are preparing our students to be a journalist in next 5 years, then I think critical thinking is very, very important. Creativity is very, very important. AI, to the extent I understand, it cannot be creative. AI cannot be emotional. Uh, Machine has a chip and man has a heart. So it's that domain where the journalist still has a lot to do. But again, you see, AI can take journalism to the new heights, because what really is do now, for example, a reporter, if he has a crime beat, what he has to do is that he has to scan all the newspapers, all the news channels, get the stories, ideas, what is going to be in his beat today. So he has to spend almost 2-3 hours. Now with AI, he can get all these informations just with the push of few buttons. Everything is there. Pollution level has gone up. He can get, while he is going to his often driving, he is getting all kind of information on his mobile regarding his beat. What is going to happen? तो एक रिपोर्टर जो ऑफिस जाके 3-4 घंटे बिताता था इस काम में, AI will facilitate that. But again, you see, suddenly, for example, the pollution level has gone up. Suddenly, for example, just hypothetically, now AI will give all the information that what really is happening, how much it has gone up, where is the origins. AI will give you all the brief that what the chattering that is taking place in the social media, what people are talking about, which are the websites that people are accessing. But as a reporter, that means if you go to the root cause of that, the people are chattering that there was some explosion in some plant, and that's why pollution level has gone up. Now, reporter job starts from here. He will have to go on that site, collect additional informations, because AI, to the extent I understand it, will only share the information and the data which is in the web domain. It will not create data which is available on the web domain. Only that data it can process and disseminate to a journalist. So that way, journalism can be taken to new height. Because journalists, for the time that he or she were spending, 9% of the time that they were spending on doing all this groundwork now, that will be taken care of by the artificial intelligence. And then 10% that where their role begins, that can become very, 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 very crucial now. To deal with the subject creatively, to tell the story in the different format, to analyze the data, to take out the new angles of the stories. That's where I think it's very, very important. Now, teachers, role of the teachers now. In today's context, with the role of teachers. Jolly, we are on time, I hope so. So anyway, teacher now is, you see,
Yes, Dhulia sir.
yes,
Uh,
how much time
We
I
have
have?
5 minutes, sir.
Well, I still have some time, I hope so. So now the role of the teacher. Teacher now, you see, there was a time when teacher used to teach and students used to take notes to prepare themselves for the examination now. Now that phase is over now. Now if a teacher is a teacher in university system, is no more a teacher as such. He's a facilitator. Because all the information that we used to share some time back is now already available to the students. Now your methodology should be different now. You should share the information with students in advance, which is already available in the public domain. Share some links with them. They should come prepared for the interaction in the classroom. So today, that role of the teacher is now different. In a school, I think it's the responsibility of a teacher to make the students learn. But in university system, I think teacher is a facilitator. He's just showing them a path. Some professor once said that now you are in the university, so my role is just a facilitator. I will take you to the fountainhead of the knowledge, and rest is your choice. You take advantage of it. So now we have to redefine our role also. We have to redefine our role in terms of imparting education, imparting training, conducting research. One thing is that in professional courses like journalism, we are focusing more on training rather than education. Now, there is a contradiction between the two. Education means imparting knowledge, and training means imparting skills. And research is another thing, that creation of the knowledge. For imparting skills, we have IIMs, we have IIT, we have IMC, we have FTI. These are the institutes. And their main job is to impart the skills, and not to impart the knowledge as such. In university system, imparting knowledge is very, very important. Because once students are knowledgeable, then only then they can excel in the skills. Now this is, I think, one of the drawback of journalism education in our country, that we are not imparting adequate intellectual skills through education by imparting knowledge among our students, and we are drifting away to the schools, to the skills and the training. Training. What is training now? Education is an open kind of a thing. You are knowledgeable. Skills is trained you. You train people to do certain work. Now that's where you see, if we now say, what the difference between an electrician and electrical engineer. Training will produce electricians. Education will produce electrical engineers. So at one segment of the people working in the news industry, they have just some skills, which is routine kind of a thing. इसको ऐसे काटना है, इसको ऐसे वीडियो लगाना है, यहाँ वॉइस करना है, but it's just technical kind of a thing, which AI can do very, very easily. Very, very easily. Then another is, when they go up in the ladder, they need to develop strategy, to vision, to create ideas, to think out of box, to create innovations. That's very, very important. And that's where the human role will be still very, very relevant and important. But some of the functions of these, which are doing mechanical job in this profession, we know the people. They are simply doing the mechanical job. They are simply trained in some skills. That's all. They cannot think in the long term. They cannot think out of box. They cannot create innovations. They are not creative. So that these two segments in the industry, I think, they need different kind of skills. And we should be prepared for these skills also. The teacher's role in imparting knowledge, teacher's role in education, training, and the research. Research has become very, very important now. In our country, the way I look at it, research is in a very pathetic position. We are not creating knowledge. Even now, uh, we are dependent on the books of the foreign authors to the large extent, I think. If you want some books on the impact of AI on the profession of journalism, I haven't seen any good Indian book. But I've come across some number of books which are written by the foreign authors which are dealing with that subjects. So that's one area I think we should focus on. And skills in isolations are nothing. It's just a mechanical kind of a thing. It's not the knowledge industry, but it is skill industry. So universities should work like universities and not like the institute. But I'll conclude by saying that it is not that what to do, but the challenge today is how to think about the issues that we are confronted to. So that's very important now. That how we think about the situation, how we evolve ourselves, how we train our students, how we impart knowledge on them, how we equip them in the research. Because journalism is, for example, in reporting for news organizations, research methods are very, very important. If you are doing a good reporting and you are trained in the research skills, then you will do far better reporting as compared to others, and one will be different in the crowd. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
Jolly, you can talk over.
Thank you, sir, for your deliberation, your special points, like always, on your inclination towards research and guiding all of us, all the media educators, for doing good researches and making research a way of life, and then taking ahead it with students and with future journalists. That's how media education should be. And technologies, yes, will come, go, will upgrade, but the research bent of mind be um, should be mixed up well with this part of research, and then of course things move ahead in a very great manner. Thank you so much, Professor Subhash Thulia, for sparing your time for the valedictory session for the faculty development program today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We also have today our guest of honor, Dr. Vikas Pathak. Have you joined?
Jolly, I can take your leave or hello, Jolly.
Sir, it's a pleasure to have you there. And we are really grateful the
I will stay
new
back. No time.
roles you added to the FDP.
I will stay back. Look.
Can we see Vikas sir on screen? Dr. Vikas Pathak has been a member of the faculty team at Asian College of Journalism at Chennai. He is also a columnist at cbctv18.com and has 16 years of experience as a journalist. He has been the deputy political editor with The Hindu, has headed the political coverage of the Outlook magazine, and has covered national politics, central government policies, and parliament for The Hindu and the Hindustan Times for a decade. He has covered many state assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections in 2009 and 2019, and has interviewed several ministers and political leaders. He has been a guest lecturer at IIMC since 2012. He has been a very important faculty member of Symbiosis at Pune. He has been presently a part of the faculty team and is heading the journalism course at the Geo Institute in Navi Mumbai. He has authored a book titled Contesting Nationalism and has done his PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Thank you, sir, for sparing your time and accepting our invite as the guest of honor. We would like to listen to your deliberation for this concluding sessions of the faculty development program organized by Amity School of Communication. We welcome you, sir. The technical team can please check for the audio. So is it possible for you to unmute?
जो कैमरा ऑन करना है उसमें सर वो क्या कहते हैं म्यूट कर रखा है उसका कैमरा भी ऑफ रखा है राइट नहीं है राइट
अपने आप को ही कर सकते हैं
अपने आप नॉट अलाउड
We'll just manage this technical glitch, sir. It's okay. We'll just manage this technical glitch.
Who's calling it?
Host is not allowed to unmute. Poonam?
IT team is working on it and writing the chat box.
Okay. So give us 2 more. Get this technique.
आपको राइट देंगे
Because the host is only limited. No one else.
फोन कर
IT को तो कर दिया शायद मैम ने.
काफी सब कर रहे. हाँ हो गया
हो गया?
सब हो गया. अब आप उनको मैसेज करें. फोन
उनको बताओ कि अनम्यूट
लेकिन
करो
फोन नहीं करेंगे.
So I think you can unmute now and also switch on your video.
Vikas sir, you are now co-host and you can unmute yourself. No, he is there. He's there. He is there. No. He's there.
मैम वो अपडेटेड नहीं है.
मैम सर
Okay.
यस जॉइन ऑडियो आल्सो उनका ऑडियो कनेक्टेड नहीं है
एक बार देखना.
उनकी तरफ से उनके वहां पे मेरा ऑडियो कंप्यूटर ऑडियो
दोबारा मीटिंग ज्वाइन.
हाँ
वो उनके एंड से प्रॉब्लम है आप इस एंड से ओके है
लीव करके दोबारा ज्वाइन करें
कर दे. हाँ जी वही कर.
वो ऑडियो का वो आता है ना सर वो उसको अभी जैसे मैंने ये कर रखा है इसको ज्वाइन करके
पहले से मतलब अगले स्पीकर को हम लाइन अप करके नहीं रख सकते. मतलब ये ग्लिच ये गैप तो नहीं आना चाहिए.
वैसे ग्लिच तो वैसे आता नहीं है गैप नहीं.
हाँ तो ये तो हम अगले स्पीकर को लाइन अप करके रख सकते हैं.
फोन करके लाइन अप कर
5 मिनट पहले
यहाँ से नहीं
नहीं
है.
क्योंकि वो तो ऑलरेडी थे ना तो हमें लग रहा था वो है ही उस पे.
And dear participants, we are fixing our technical glitch because our resource person is facing some technical issue with the camera and audio. So kindly bear with us. So we can learn these skills from our advisors, Sir Dagan sir, as well as Dhulia sir. So they are very much tech savvy. They didn't face any trouble.
Well, good afternoon, all of you. Uh, Waiting for Dr. Vikas to join in. Pranam Subhash Dhulia, sir. This is Sunit Mukherjee from
Pranam.
MDU. Yeah. And I was just thinking of Einstein's quote that human spirit must prevail over technology. So, whatsoever great heights technology can go and will go, but ultimately that human touch is what it matters. So, yes, this human interaction would have been much better. I too could not come, but technology will, with all its advancement, there will be glitches. So no problems.
Sir, you are not audible.
So, राकेश सर, if you can call him. ये तो सब बड़ा awkward हो गया. क्या हो गया है?
No, sir, you are not audible.
हम्म.
No, sir, you are not audible. Please check any other application is using your mic. So just close your other application like MS Team or anything else.
There are technological lapses at times, so it's okay. Till we are fixing this, yes, there are times when the technology and we don't go hand in hand together. But we are trying our level best to fix this issue. Vikas sir, by the time you get this audio fixed and we get it fixed from the ASCO studios, I would like to invite our honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, officiating Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay, for the concluding remarks. He has been the chairman of the Amity Law School. He is the chief advisor, FPO, former Vice Chancellor, Guru Gobind Singh, Indraprastha University, New Delhi, IMS Unison University, Dehradun, former director, IIFM, dean and acting director at IIM, Lucknow. I feel elated to invite Professor Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay for his concluding remarks for the Faculty Development Program organized by Amity School of Communication in collaboration with Amity Academic Staff College. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Uncle Asima. Thank you very much. It's my rare privilege to be in the midst of the media person. Everybody is afraid of the media person. So I am not the exceptions. So every words of mine should be accordingly measured. And just 1 minute, please. Hello. I'm sorry, there is an urgent call. So at the outset, I must congratulate ASCO, especially Jolly Josh, the program directors, Rakesh, for taking this initiative along with other faculty members, faculty colleagues, to conduct this very important FDP, Faculty Development Program, Industry Skill for Media Educator 5.0. And I could see that who is who in the media education. You are able to tap them over here, including our own Dargan Saab, who is again a jar of media education. And there are, people from across the country, Sunil, Shweta Kothari, then resource person Anushka Dalmia, Siksha Sukla, Devika Chibbar, Rubed Astak. Now again today, I was just hearing the valedictory guest of honor, because Pathakji we could not hear, but certainly Professor Subhash Dholia. I hope Subhashji, you are doing well, and I was hearing your narratives, and it is so fascinating to listen your narratives.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now, to me, the way I just look at today, you see, there are when there are technological disruption takes place in the world, it creates plethora of opportunity. The first technological disruption took place in 17th century by the invention of boiler engine. And the boiler engine, it transformed the muscle power to the machine power. It created plethora of opportunities, and some education institutions were created for providing the manpower to tap this technology and for the benefit of the mankind. Now, the cycle of, again, second disruption, it took place when the concept of mass production came. The assembly line operation started coming over there. And also different types of pharmaceutical industry inventions took place, X-ray machine took place, medical sciences developed. It created plethora of opportunities in the second generations of our mankind evolution or planet evolution. And that created lots of old universities in the world that was the time 18th century, all universities were created, and they provided the opportunity for different people to work, and they essentially needed to skill themselves, to get themselves knowledgeable enough to man those organizations. So education institution, all today's famous 500 Fortune 500 universities in the world, if you just look at, they were created during that time. The third generation disruption took place when the computer was invented and gradually connected through internet. And it created another type of opportunities, plethora of opportunities. But every time, every generations of the disruptions, it has its own way of media playing their roles. And if you just look at the media role that has been evolved during this period of evolution, with the invention of the printing machine, and today, when you look at the way the things are happening, has a drastic differences. So if you just start talking about teaching today about the printing machines, about the offset printing, and people will be laughing at us. So it depends upon us in this technological evolution. What should we do? Now 4G is that fourth generation it came, and with the convergence of computing technology, software technology, communication technology, cloud computing, and then the type of bandwidth that are being used, and 4G communication started taking place, it generated again a new environment, new work environment, new work culture, new production of the goods and services, and new societal abuses, misuses, and uses. All those things started happening over there. Now the technology has been advanced in new way. We are seeing that virtual augmentation, real augmentation, the image processing. And now nobody in the media, nobody talks about anything other than the images. Now there comes the challenges for our media educator. Now today is the day where when we say that it is the day of action learning, empowerment, empowering the students to learn. Now teachers and group facilitator have the challenge of organizing media education activities with groups of young people or adults. Although collection of media literacy curricula have been published in recent years, teachers and leaders need to develop their own set of guidelines for classes and group meetings. Nobody is going to listen in your class which is available through ChatGPT. Nobody is going to listen to your class what is available already in the Gmail or Chrome or what we call it in the internet. So how do you really make the action learning model? Now every institution has to work on action learning model, and which actually is uncorking a spiral of inquiry that leads to increased comprehension, greater critical thinking, and ability to make informed judgment. It also offers an opportunity for groups to organize for action and advocacy, especially in relation to the social impact of media in our lives and our culture, to do something about issues like violence in the media, stereotyping of women and minorities, the trivialization of news, and the decline of informed electorate. Now, action learning, based on the work of the late Brazilian educator Paulo Freire, which can be summarized as a four-step empowerment. Empowerment process can be summarized in four-step process. That empowerment process is awareness, analysis, reflection, and action. Awareness, analysis, reflection, and action. In the awareness step, the group participates in some activity, which they took it very triviality, but when we show them through the cartoons or some video clipping, and when they went inside and they start thinking, oh, I never thought of that before. The next step is analysis. It provides time for the group to figure out how an issue came to be. Core questioning and close analysis are two techniques used in this step to better understand the complexity of the selected media topic. Production experiences could also help the group understand how and what happens in the exchange between media production and their audiences. In the reflection step, the group looks deeper to ask, so what? Or what ought we to do about the identified media issues? Depending on the group, they may one also consider philosophical or religious tenets, ethical values, or democratic principles that are accepted as guides for individual and collective decision making. Finally, the action step gives participants an opportunity to formulate constructive action that will lead to personal changes in their own media choices and viewing habits, as well as working for change locally, nationally, or globally. And these are the challenges, but opportunities are plethora. Today's media environment offers a window of opportunity for the introduction of media education, not only in the school education, but throughout the society. Already over 50% of the viewing audience has discovered other alternatives to network broadcasting. Over 80% of homes have VCRs, and 1 in 4 people use the internet at least weekly. Leisure time is on the rise, and quality of life issues are a major concern for young families and the social system, and that serves them. More critically, concern about issues like tobacco abuse, body image, and eating disorders, teen sexual behavior, and the proliferation of violence have prompted teachers, parents, and caregivers to examine the role that media messages play in shaping the cultural environment in which the children are growing up. Educating young people to select their media choices, teaching people of all ages to evaluate the media's underlying values, and in general, promoting a media consciousness is a challenge for educators, activists, and service providers who recognize that for our society to flourish into the next century, we must turn the closed one-way system of commercial mass media into a two-way process of discussion, reflection, and action with each other and with the media themselves. And to me, that's the most interesting thing, that skill must be developed. How do you make the empowerment process to be in place with the student through the action learning? And this is the word that I wanted to communicate. So once again, I thank Jolly Josh, Rakesh Mohan, and all ASCO faculty members who took part in organizing this FDP. And lastly, I must thank all the participants who joined in this FDP, because carrying the MDP for 30 hours and then listening to them, sometimes you may be knowing that what they are talking about, you already know it. But again, having a patience to listen to them itself shows that how keen you are. Whether there may be something out of 100 words, you could be picking up 3 or 4 words. That's again is a value addition. I hope you had a great learning through these 5 days deliberations, and I have no reasons to disbelieve that there were lots of take home to you for your working place or the place where you are all associated with. So thank you very much.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for this.
Am I audible now?
Positive concluding. Sir, thank you. Okay. I think we have sorted the technical audio glitch, and I must invite Dr. Vikas Pathak now. I would like to formally introduce you again, sir. Sir has been a very important member of Asian College of Journalism in Chennai. He has been part of the Hindu and the Outlook team. He has covered many assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections. He has been an author of a very important book which is named Contesting Nationalism, and has done his PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Over to you, Vikas, sir.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. I think.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, yeah, 1 second. Basically, what happened? On my mobile, it was actually showing me that I cannot speak, and that could not be sorted. And on my laptop, the microphone crashed. So I bought it.
Proper journalist, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me here. And how should people who are teaching journalism or media educators, as we say, upgrade themselves in terms of skills? Now, this is a very, important thing, but at the same time, this is also a thing about which we need to remain extremely cautious as journalists. The reason is that this turn, the digital turn, which has brought in a lot of multimedia stuff, which actually requires people to be more tech savvy, and the students at that, it has also resulted in another very important thing in the industry. So conventional journalism basically was about getting stories, covering beats, covering the government, covering political parties, covering, say, the social sector, covering stock markets, whatever, covering a number of beats, crime. Now the thing is, in that in fact was the core of journalism, where journalism delivered to citizens the knowledge and information on a daily basis that made them capable of taking decisions as citizens. Because journalism in that sense is a pillar of democracy. The information that goes out through journalism makes people or citizens make informed choices. And those informed choices can, vary from which route to take when you are. Can you hear me?
क्या बताऊं मैडम को फाउंडर कहते हैं जब छुट्टी पे जाते हैं उसे डिस्टर्ब मत सॉरी
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. So,
Dr. Vikas, you're audible.
Okay. So journalism actually made citizens take informed decisions, be it, which route to take while you're driving, because if there's a protest, if there's a jam or something, if a bridge, has been broken, then the newspaper will tell you that. And ranging from this to something as important as when to invest, what is the state of the economy, or whom to vote for, all of these things. What has happened with the digital turn is that most newsrooms are, hiring in bulk at lower levels for digital journalists. Now, these hirings are basically not that much journalistic hirings. The reason is that the digital platforms that are now flooding the industry, they do not have a revenue model to sustain, nor do they have enough funding. The reason, the result of that is that the kind of journalism that these digital platforms do is primarily opinion and curation. They are hardly breaking any news. So what is happening is that the news is already there. They Google for the news. And eventually, once they know what is there, they will either tell you how to think about it, or there'll be something of a stand-up comedy-like show on news, or they would kind of make graphics, infographics and all that, or just give their opinion. Now, opinion giving was a thing of great sanctity in conventional journalism. Not everyone was considered informed or educated enough to offer opinion. They were experts. The edit page of a newspaper used to be something that people looked at. Now the thing is that with a number of digital media platforms, almost every journalist, even a young journalist, is trying to give a spin, trying to give some opinion, trying to write with a tilt. So the result of all this digital turn, where you are doing multimedia stories, which are often highly opinionated, the result of this turn is that there's a decline in the overall quality of journalism in the democracy. So the more we run towards skilling, of course, every journalist in future needs the skills. To be a successful journalist, you need to be, savvy in terms of digital tools, no doubt about it. Maybe in the coming days, data journalism is going to become a big thing. Most newspapers, etc., now have data journalists. So that is a very, very specialized domain. And generally, it is people who have studied the economy. Like, for instance, in Hindustan Times, you have Roshan Kishore, who's their data and political economy editor. He did his MPhil in economics from JNU. So that is a very specialized domain, because you need that domain knowledge to be able to make sense of data and do meaningful stories, right? Not everyone can do it. So these trends one has to be, aware of, as in how to use multimedia tools, how to look at the future curve of the industry. But often what happens is that this skilling, when it becomes a kind of a key pursuit, it takes away something from the knowledge aspect of journalism. Believe me, the best institutions in the world do not focus only on skilling. They focus on rigor, they focus on knowledge. Let me tell you something. We're very today, someone maybe passed out from IIT Delhi decades ago, became an engineer. Did we have mobile phones at that time? We did not. Someone passed out from AIMS and became a doctor 30 years ago. Were the latest techniques in medical science that have come up in the last few years, were they there? They were not. So skilling is a lifelong activity. We all skill ourselves, right? So the point is, imparting of skills alone can never produce the best of students and scholars in the world. What produces the best students and scholars in the world is a focus on the fundamentals of knowledge production. As that person becomes a professional, the future skilling keeps on happening. A person, even Albert Einstein, if he were to come back to life, would not be able to operate a mobile phone. But that does not mean much. The thing is, every IIT and every person from MIT and all those places, all these people, for instance, have always kept skilling themselves through their careers, because technology changes every 2 or 3 years. Even if you impart the best of skills to your students right now, 5 years later, something new will come. So that student will, it's not as if you are making a student industry heavy in terms of skills, industry ready in terms of skills, because you are, ahead of the curve when it comes to skills. More skills will be required every second, third, fourth, fifth year. That is something that the student has to do as a professional all his life, all her life. And that is something that every company that hires them will keep imparting to them. Now, as a media educator, as also a journalist, I've been shuffling between the two. I have come across in my own career in the last 4-5 years, students from top J schools being hired because they were very good at multimedia. Eventually, the experience was that you had to check everything, every sentence of the script that they wrote, because they could not write structure together 2 correct sentences in English. Now, the thing is, okay, I'll just get back to, okay. Yeah. So the whole thing right now is this, that to understand that the fundamentals of journalism will always remain the same. The fundamentals of journalism are never going to change. And journalism, eventually, the best journalists in the country, even today, are people who have been extremely rigorous. Those people have been the best journalists. One second. Hello? 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 Sir. Yes. Hello. Hello.
I request the IT to please switch over to the ASCO studios. Thank you. We are on the last leg of the 5-day FDP conducted by Amity School of Communication. I would like to request Dr. Jolly Jose to formally give the vote of thanks for the participants and for all the trainers who have come and joined us in the FDP. Ma'am.
contacting him. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance. There was something that suddenly came up. So, well, what I was saying basically was that what is happening in journalism often, and something that is a matter of concern, that there are students who are coming up with a lot of multimedia skills, and obviously this is the younger generation, they are digital natives, they are anyway smarter than any of us when it comes to the digital world. But when it comes to hiring by companies, what I have noticed in the last few years is that any student who can write a clean copy, any student who can edit a copy that is not clean and make it clean is guaranteed a job. Because increasingly, if you are in touch with editors across the industry, there have been complaints about journalism students from across India that there are mistakes even in the headlines, leave alone the copy. Grammar has gone for a toss. So what is basically journalism? Journalism is basically storytelling based on two things. One is a skill aspect, how to do it. But the most important thing in journalism is that we are writing or we are talking or doing video shows about subjects that are out there in society. The difference between a journalist and an academic is only this. The journalist who's covering, say, the economy, covering the finance ministry, is talking to us about what happens today and tomorrow, right? The academic may be writing a book on macroeconomics, looking at the, say, Indian economy over the last 50 years. But today is related to those previous years. So it's like it's a journey, it's a process. Every subject that we have, be it our economy, be it Indian politics, be it science and tech in India, agriculture in India, they all have a history, there's a process. The journalist is basically telling us a story about what is happening at this moment in the process. It's like there's a highway, there's a street, and there's a milestone every 1 kilometer.
So, we would like to just wrap up in next 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. So basically, so given the fact that journalists are telling stories about matters that are also matters of various disciplines, journalism's first principle is that a student has to be extremely knowledgeable. Reading is most important, much more important than all the other skills that keep changing every 2 or 3 years. A well-read, intellectually sound student who's also willing to go out and talk to people, who's willing to go out and build networks and contacts in government and other agencies, who is willing to work on his or her language, make it better, will always be a very successful journalist. Let's not forget that many of the top-notch journalists in India did not go to a J school. There are journalists who went to the IITs, there are journalists who went to Oxford, there are journalists who went to Delhi University, JNU, many other places. And they did not plan to be journalists, but ended up being very successful journalists. So I would still say skilling is important, but skilling is not a substitute for the fundamentals. Writing a clean copy, working on your language, also reading a lot, reading good books that will make the person more knowledgeable. Understanding the Indian Constitution, for instance. There are so many stories regarding which are related to some aspect of the other or the other of the Indian Constitution that keep coming. So I think that is what media educators should always remember, that skills will keep changing, technology will keep coming, but there's some fundamentals that will always stay. So I don't know whether this makes sense in the context of the particular FDP, but I thought it was very important to also have remember the fundamentals of knowledge production while we focus on skilling. So thanks a lot, and if any one of you want to get in touch with me, talk to the faculty, we can have a further conversation on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pathak. It was a wonderful presentation, and I agree with you completely. Content is king. So maybe with technological skills, you move ahead, but without content, that presentation would not be that effective. You are absolutely right. Domain knowledge is very, very important. Thank you, and thank you for advising to read more. which I always tell my students to. Thank you very much.
So, thanks.
Thank you. We sometimes have to blame technology also. We rely technology also. Um, we both positive and the negative parts of technology also we go through. We would allow to listen to Professor Pathak a more longer time. Unfortunately, we could not expect that we'll have another lovely session with you, longer discussions. And I'm again here in front of you to extend formally our gratitude for completing this FDP in a very, very successful manner. And gathering opens door to the power, wisdom, and creativity of university, and creativity of the universe too. And this upskilling industry skills 5.0 has definitely opened a door to all of us, and it has triggered our curiosity, sharpened our learning curve, and enhanced our skills. And this, as institution, Amity School of Communication, Amity University, or to many individuals and teams. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation and gratitude to our esteemed founder president, Dr. Ashok Chauhan, a great visionary of the time and a person of leadership, an unwavering commitment to academic excellence have paved way for the growth and success of our esteemed institution. And our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhanji. It is through their unwavering support and encouragement and initiatives like this, it has come fruitful. And we are empowered as institutions, as individuals, and as teams to commit and complete tasks like faculty development program. And I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who continue to trigger our spirit to run faster, to attain better, and be excellent. And this thought process has brought our own Amity communication team to think of an FDP like this, as I mentioned in my opening speech. And I'm grateful to our esteemed advisor and mentors of the institution, Professor R.K. Dargan sir, and our consortium members, Professor Mehak Jonchua, Dr. Ruhilal, Professor DK, and also the core team members of our organizing committee, Dr. Rakesh, and the other team members who are already here been communicating to you for tirelessly working for the last week and the past months to make this faculty development program a successful one. I would also like to acknowledge and express our gratitude to the entire group of resource persons who came from industry, who are academicians, who committed to us and rejoined us. It's a second commitment they made to make this FDP a successful one. I also extend our gratitude to the entire studio team of Amity Media Studio under the leadership of Mr. Arun Tiwari, who had been continuously supporting us uninterruptedly with us day, night, and our IT team of the university for their ongoing support, including yesterday, though it was a holiday. So thank you, Sodi sir, and the team. I wanted to extend my appreciation and support to all of you, the registered participants who joined from across the country, who continue to contribute. Some of us who are continuously sharing your views and adding values to this FDP. That's what the FDP become a successful one. And I also would like to extend my gratitude personally and also as a team member of Amity Communication, School of Communication, to the special guest of the day, Professor Duliaji and Patakji, who has joined, though we could not complete listening extensively to Patakji, for your value added, thoughtful, challenging way you have delivered at this valedictory function, and also to our dear respected Bandobadhyay sir, who is the officiating vice chancellor and chief advisor of founder president and chairman of Amity School of Communication. Sir is also our DRC research departmental research committee chairperson, who is an always a support for us every time when we meet. Sir speaks about how to excel, how to go do better things, how to bring up value added programs, activities to the department. And thank you so much, sir, for joining, though these days are very busy schedule for the university, and making this day a very, very successful one. And once again, I thank all the positive supports which is extended by a big team here, and above all, God Almighty, for guiding us through wisdom, through support, and showering blessing upon each one of us. And I'm sure all of us who joined has number of things to take away, to engage us as teachers, researchers, entrepreneurs, and furthermore, claiming ourselves are upskilled persons. Thank you and wish you a great learning ahead. And I also invite all of you, all those participated are also part of Amity team now. And anytime you're welcome to this campus. Our campus is open to you, and the certificate of your this course will be distributed in a week time. You were not only listening, but also doing some assignment. There were assessment students. It is not only for you. All the participants had assessment, and I'm happy all of you have submitted. And for today's, there is 24 hours more left to submit your assessment. And as per the guidelines, the certificates will be distributed to you. Thank you once again and wish you a very, very great academic year ahead.
Thank you, madam. We can have a joint photo together right now.
Thank you, Sunitji, for always being there when there is a gap.
आशिमा जी, मिले सुर तुम्हारा मेरा तुम्हारा तो सुर बने हमारा। तो मैं ये तो उम्मीद लगा रहा हूं कि एक ये जो आपने जो ये दीप प्रज्वलित किया है एमआईटी एस्को ने, तो ये दीप जो है बहुत पूरे भारत में मीडिया शिक्षा को बिल्कुल दीप्यमान करेगा। तो आपका बहुत बहुत आभार।
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all the participants. Is it possible that all of us can, if possible, that all of us can open our cameras and we can have a digital group photograph together? IT team, if you can please. Can we have one? If other participants can also open their cameras and we can have a nice digital photograph. स्क्रीनशॉट लेंगे पर सब ओपन करें कैमरा। हाँ, आई थिंक मेनी पीपल आर देयर। रूलिया सर इज आल्सो देयर। यहाँ कैसे होगा? ये वाला कैसे होगा? How do we be representing? Those first sitting. हम उधर बैठे, उधर आ रहे हैं ना, शॉट आ रहे हैं।
हाँ, शॉट आ रहा है उधर से। स्क्रीन आ जाएगी। वो आ रहा है, शॉट आ रहा है। ये फ्रंट वाला कैमरा कर देंगे, आ जाएगा जहाँ पे सब इकट्ठे।
आई थिंक वहाँ बैठ जाते हैं। Let the cameras be open for a while. We'll take a picture. I can see Rubaid sir alag se. Oh, your hair from your okay. See. Great. I'm joining the picture now.
सिंगल क्यों कर रहे?
We formally close the 5-day faculty development program. Thank you all for participating, for all these engaging sessions and all your reviews, and your questions are of course welcomed. And people who have not sent their assignments, do send your assignments, as Jolly ma'am said, and all your certificates will be sent to you digitally.